Our discussion this afternoon, by the way, is all about properties of whole numbers. Let's begin with the first property. We call it the commutative property of addition. Can I have a volunteer to read this one? Or ako na lang. Sige, addition is commutative. Switching the order of two numbers being added does not change the sum. So when I say commutative, like the order of adding the numbers, just like this one, 100 plus 8 is the same as 8 plus 100. The same as 50 plus 40, that is the same as when you add 40 plus 50. So mo ni siya first property, the commutative property of addition. Now, what if I'll be writing 60 plus 7 equals 7 plus blank? What should be written on the blank?
60.
Okay, that's the commutative property of addition. Let's go to the commutative property of multiplication. So the same with addition. When I say multiplication, when you switch the order of the numbers being multiplied, the product does not change at all. So meaning, if I'm gonna be multiplying 20 times 5, it has the same result as 5 times 20. Do you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now, let's continue. Another example. 100 times 8 is the same as 8 times 100. So, this is the commutative property of multiplication. So, nanatay duha ka properties. Commutative property of addition, commutative property of multiplication. Let's go to the third property. The third property is the associative property of addition. Unsay pasabot anang associative, by the way? Sige, let's share ideas now. Unsay pasabot sa associative? You associate, meaning i-group. So meaning, ang grouping sa pag-add does not affect the sum. Example, will be adding first 2 and 10. This is my grouping. Then I will add 6. The same way result, if I'm gonna group 10 plus 6, and the result will be added to 2. So this is what you call associative property of addition. The grouping does not change the sum at all. Another example is this. So I am grouping this one, 4 and 5. And I'm grouping on the other side 3 and 4. But take note, I have 3, 4, and 5. I also have 3, 4, and 5. Dapat same numbers na saya. If I'm gonna be having like 7 plus 8 plus 9 is equal to, I'll be having 7 plus 8 plus 9. I'll be grouping 7 and 8. What should be the grouping on the other side?
8 and 9.
8 and 9. So nothing changes there. It's still the same sum. It's the same as multiplication. So in the associative property of multiplication, if you will be grouping factors together, it does not affect the product at all. Like example, we have here 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. I will be grouping 3 and 4 on this side. On this side, I'll be grouping 4 and 5. If I'll multiply 3 and 4 then times 5, it's the same as I'll be multiplying 4 by 5 then times 3. Nothing changes at all. The same rapod na aning 2 times 10 plus 6. The grouping is over here. And on the other side, the grouping is 2 times 10. The same product gihapon na saya. So we now have 4 properties: commutative sa addition, commutative sa multiplication, associative sa addition, and associative sa multiplication. Now let's move on to the fifth property. Do you still remember the distributive property? Gamay. Sige, atong i-review. The distributive property is an algebra property which is used to multiply a single term or two or more inside a set of parentheses. Example, this one. Diba, unsay buhaton nani, you distribute. When I say distribute,
10
10
Multiply.
times 50. O, mo na distribute. Then operation kay plus. You write plus. Then
10 times 3.
10 times 3. Oh, that's how you do distributive property. Let's have another example. This one. What should be written over here? 3 times 12. You distribute 3 to 12. After which, plus 3 times 9. 3 times 99. Okay? So this is the distributive property. It's the same as example. 3 times 2 minus 1 plus 5. If I'll be distributing this, this is 3 times 2 minus 3 times 1 plus 3 times 5.
Plus.
Okay? So that is the distributive property. Now, let's move on to the identity property. Naka-remember pa sa identity property, class? Moni ako ilahan ng class, basta identity. When I say identity, bahalag addition or subtraction or multiplication asaya, ang answer ana niya is the whole number itself. So, example, if I'm gonna be having 49, nga dapat ang result 49, pila may i-add na ako? 0. Because 0 is the additive identity. Adding 0 will never change the value of the whole number. So example, you have there 88 plus 0 is 88. 1,234 plus 0 is 1,234. So take note of that. That's the identity property. Identity remains the same. Okay? From the word identity. Let's have multiplication. O, pila may i-times na ko sa 10 to get 10.
1.
So meaning 1 is the multiplicative identity. 0 additive identity, 1 multiplicative identity. Here are examples. So 88 times 1, that's 88. 285 times 1, that's 285. So kasabot sa identity property. Klaro? Let's move on to the 0 property of multiplication. Any number times 0 is how much?
0.
It's 0.
0.
So no matter like 88 times 0, 8 times 2 times 3 times 1,000 times 3 million times 0. That's how much?
0.
0.
0.
Okay? Automatically, that is 0. Bisag daghan pa kayo ng times ana, that's automatically 0. That's the 0 property of multiplication. Now, let's move on to the division properties of 0 and 1. The first property is this. Any whole number except 0 divided by itself is 1. An example is this. 88 divided by itself, that's 88, is equal to 1. That's the first property of division of 0 and 1. Another property is a whole number is divided by 1 is the whole number itself. So meaning 80 divided by 1 is the same number. It's 80. Is 769 divided by 1, it's still 769. Now, there are other two properties as well. 0 divided by a whole number is 0. So, meaning, 0 divided by 79 is 0. 0 divided by 1,000 is 0. What if I'm gonna have division by 0? Unsay answer ninyo anang any number divided by 0? Class, unsay answer ninyo basta ang number gi-divide, it's undefined. Ang isuwat ninyo ha, the word undefined. You will not be writing 0 there because ang 0 will result if ang 0 divided by any whole number. The same as that, 769 divided by 0, that is also undefined.